Hello everyone. My name is Penina Lauzi and
my name is Henry Akello.
Welcome to today's topic. Today we are going to be discussing about a topic that you're probably arguing about in your group chats. So we are going to be talking about marriage and age. It's a hot button topic. So how old is too old, or how young is too young? Or does it even really matter? So what age exactly? Is marriage as 20 a recipe for forever love? Or is it a potential for a reality TV drama? So that's the topic we're going to dive into today.
It is a very kind of a tricky topic for the day, but I hope we'll be able to give out a good insight over it so that we are able to hold this discussion quite well.
Yeah, we have some spicy opinions, so buckle up. This is going to be fun. Yeah. So, Henry.
Yes.
Let's talk about the big P, pressure.
Mm-hmm.
How does it come in when it comes to age and marriage?
Pressure.
Yes.
Now, I will look at it in two approaches. I will look at it pressure in terms of being a man, and pressure in terms of being a woman, because both have a different meaning at the same time. Mm-hmm. When I talk about a man being under pressure to settle down, it depends on how old is this man, and the society will look at it in terms of what are the age mates have done to that particular point. Mm. And you see, men don't go down so much on pressure as compared to women. The pressure in a man is something that a man can still handle, because we look at men marrying at an older age, still they have an opportunity to even have kids. Mm. So I'm talking of a man marrying at the age of 50 plus. This man at the age of 50 plus can still marry a young lady and they can still have a family. So if you compare the two kind of a pressure this man would be having would be absolutely different from the pressure that a woman would be having. Mm-hmm. But the question would be, at that point, what are their priority? Or what is the priority of that man? The priority of the man would still be, I want to have a family. Mm-hmm. Now, when we look at the pressure from a woman perspective, which is very, very critical and a bit sensitive, and I pray that I get a better way of explaining this, is women have the most pressure when it comes to marriage and age. Uh-huh. Because we look at women at their childbearing age. When I talk of childbearing age, this is the age of 15 to around 40, uh-huh. Or let me put it to around 42. So if a woman is not married within the age bracket, then a lot of pressure comes in, because one, the pressure of I'm not married at this age. Two, the pressure of I've reached my menopause, and therefore am I going to bear children? Mm-hmm. And three, the society usually judges women more worse than the men in the society. So you look at a woman who is not married between between the age bracket I've mentioned there, who will definitely go through a much more pressure as compared to a man. Yes.
Yeah, as a woman, speaking from a woman's perspective, mm-hmm. By the time a woman is 25, mm-hmm. people already believe you're late to the party.
Yes.
You need to have already found someone and settled down. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, life has just begun. Mm-hmm. So you wonder, should I settle down and start making babies, mm-hmm. or should I go climb Mount Kilimanjaro first? Like you need to see the world. You need you also want to enjoy your youth. Mm-hmm. But that is the moment where all the pressure is up. Every wedding you go to, you wonder whether you are allowed to eat a plate in a wedding without someone asking you, when are we having yours?
Or where are you married to?
Yeah, who is coming? Is there somebody? It's too much pressure.
I think I would say that there are certain questions that we expect to do happen in our life or be asked in our life at certain ages. And if you mention the age of a woman at the age of 23, remember, at the age of 23, most of the ladies are very mature as compared to men of their age group. Okay? Then now, at that particular moment, a woman will definitely go for true love. And that is where most of the women meet their true love. It is at that age bracket. And the problem happens, like, if they don't meet their true love at that age bracket, then they will meet this at a later age, and that would be 30 plus. And that means now there's already a problem in their system. You get it? Because they have gone through a little bit of some heartbreak, and now they're a bit cautious. And being cautious, they become a little bit independent.
Actually, too cautious.
Yes, so when they become a little bit independent and also financially independent, then that is also invites more of a trouble as compared to a man. So you see, the life of a woman in this aspect is quite tricky when it comes to marriage, age, and the pressure. It's a bit tricky for them.
So why is a woman's independence becoming an issue? Because if I'm not married at 25 or in my 20s, obviously I wouldn't just be sitting around not looking for money, not trying to be independent because I want someone else to be comfortable in marrying me. Life goes on. We also have goals. We know what we want in life. So if you don't have a husband yet, it's okay to try to get what you want for yourself in life. But at the end of the day, you find that this aspect of you finding what you want also becomes a problem for you.
Let me tell you this. This is what we call traditional norms. Traditional norms, these are some of the things that dictates when women were, or when people were getting married in the society. And you realize that in some societies, there were even arranged marriages. You see?
Yeah.
And also, when we look at it in the old days, there were this eloping method, or there were several methods whereby women were being married. And there was an age bracket that your parents would sit you down and say, this is what we want you to do, whether you are in school or not. But you see, these days, everything has changed. The society norms has also changed. The expectation in each and every individual person has also changed, whereby now we bring in the education aspect of it, we bring in the career aspect of it, we bring in the stability, the financial stability aspect of it. So you realize every woman would want to walk into a marriage when they are capable of having all these factors considered.
Yes.
They are psychologically ready for it, they are financially ready for it, they are emotionally ready for it. Now, after considering all this, which could be an age limit or an age bracket that this particular woman will be. If a woman have succeeded in having all these factors I've mentioned, then this woman is above 25 years of age.
Yes.
Now, a woman above 25 years of age would possibly look for a man 30 plus. Now, if you look for a man 30 plus, you realize that maybe those men had already settled down before even they reached 30.
Yeah.
Now, your search bracket narrows down. Your search bracket narrows down in the sense that your age mate or the men that were supposed to marry you probably had already settled down. Or if that is not the case, then you look at now the package that you have. The package that you have is, one, you are financially stable. There's one thing that women tend to don't understand about men. Men will always be the head. Whether they are financially stable or not, they would always want to be the head of a family. And there is the pressure of having a woman, in most men, having a woman who is financially stable, because we believe it comes with a bit of ego and everything, which is normal for every person. You get it?
What I believe is, if I'm financially stable, I need to find someone also who is more financially stable than me.
Exactly.
Because
yes.
I'm supposed to submit to this man.
Yes.
Now, how am I submitting to someone who does not bring anything to submit to?
Exactly. So you can see there is already a problem in your search cycle, because your search cycle has now excluded certain things.
Yes.
Now you are not going for a true love. You are now looking for something that can match your status.
Because at this point,
Yes.
true love is not enough. It doesn't sustain everything.
I think people don't understand few things when it comes to marriage. And I believe most of the families or most of the marriages that have hit the rock at some point, they didn't consider a number of things. There is the one key thing that people need to consider. It's not even about finances. I've seen people with millions of shillings and still break. You get it? So I always say, I think we start to develop a friendship with the person we're dating. If we develop friendship with the person we are dating, then we're going to love this person day and night. And the love aspect of it also needs to have the bigger percentage, as much as we want to be comfortable in those houses. But the love part of it needs to take a bigger percentage. Because I tell you, if you marry a man that is financially stable and doesn't respect you, how does that sound? You will never have the peace in that house. Whether you have billions of shillings, but you'll never have. And you've seen this happen in most of the rich guys. So there is an aspect that we young people tend to underlook. And this is the aspect of, how do I feel about someone? Do I love this person to a point that she can become my friend? She can become someone I can wake up every day next to, and we can make those crazy jokes and we still live, whether we have money in the bank or not. So that the money we have is actually going to make it more luxurious as compared to bringing an issue in between.
Then when we see it from that angle, it doesn't matter who has more. Because I believe life is a roller coaster. Today you have more, tomorrow I have more.
Exactly. But
so
you see now
where the
problem comes, Penina, let me tell you this. Where the problem comes is when money gets into people. You see, I want us to look at the presence of money in a real life situation. The presence of money. The presence of money comes with a lot of issues around it. And it is not something that we can beat around the bush, not discussing. It is something that we can basically talk it out. You can see couples that started from zero, and as they grow and money crops into their family, the hell breaks loose. And you'll ask yourself, what really happened? So I think people need to embrace the fact that they need to bring the money topic first in their life.
The money topic should be had.
Yes.
The conversation should be had even before marriage. Because if you don't agree on how you're going to be handling finances, it's going to be a problem.
Now,
we cannot be living under one roof and I'm here expecting you to spend my money, or you're there expecting to spend my money without me spending your money.
Exactly. Now,
we're living in the same roof.
You started by saying when you are financially stable, you would want someone who is more financially stable than you.
Yes.
Which means you will definitely start your relationship after doing a thorough search on this person. What is guiding you at that particular moment? Is it the love for that person or the financial status of that person?
For me, it's not the financial status.
Yes.
Because I believe that if I'm in a certain level, at a certain level in life, I cannot and I will not attract people who are at a lesser level. Because a man who is at a lesser level will obviously be intimidated. So they won't even have the guts. And when they come at the end of the day, I don't think they'll have the guts to go all the way to marriage.
It is how you carry on yourself. I will say it like that. Because I've seen women who are so rich and they're married to men who are not equally rich than them.
Are they sure the men are there for love, or are they there for money?
They have successful family, and those women can attest that they are living a comfortable life. Remember what I say, this is all about respect. Yeah, this is all about respect put on the table. And we are here, like, it's not about the money, it's not about your lifestyle, it's not about everything. It's about how I feel about you. It's about how you feel about that gentleman. Yes, whatever you can't be. Okay, let me ask you this question. These women that you see are equally richer in the society, are they all married to rich men? If we look at it honestly, are they all married to rich men?
No, but there's a reason.
Yes.
I think there's a reason to that. You know, like,
what is the reason?
As a woman, if I get married to a man who is lesser successful, then there's a tendency of me controlling that man because I provide everything.
So I think the whole point that I'm trying to bring out here is, as a family, when we come together as a family, what are we able to put as a plan to guide us through? It's not about what you have that should control everything. It's not about what I have that should control everything.
You know,
The whole point should be we coming in as one, and therefore we are in a position to be able to sit down and say, this is how we are going to start this race together. This is how we are going to start working together as couples, or this is how we are going to do things from today, whereby the respect of me being a man still stands irrespective of amount of money you have. So I'm not going to sit down every day and start budgeting with your money, but I'm going to budget with what I have in the society, in the family, and only if you are willing to top. So it is your responsibility as my wife to see, like, it's okay, I can do a top up on this and we can do this. So that whatever we are coming up with, whatever the project we are coming up with as a family, we look at it as a family. You get the point? Now that is the difference. We are looking at it as this is what we are doing as a family.
Let's go back to the master plan. Who is the provider of the family?
It is the man.
The man is supposed to be the provider.
Yes.
Now, what happens when we turn the tables and now the wife is the provider? Who calls the shot?
You see, it's not about who calls the shots here. Let me tell you one thing. In a marriage life, or in a marriage situation, or even in a relationship, things do change. Okay? Every conditions are never permanent.
Yes,
I can't be having money today more than you. Then something happen along and I lose my job or anything. Does it mean that everything is going to change in the house? Does it mean that now you start calling the shot because now you are the one working?
No, that is not the...
But how will it still
run? That is not the route I'm coming from.
Yes.
I'm looking at it this way. If we are married and you're taking your responsibilities fully as the man of the house, you're going to get everything done as the man because you are the provider. You came in on the right foot. But now when things change, life is not constant. Things do change. So if tomorrow it happens that I make more money than you, I know that this has happened. You're not able to provide as you used to provide because of what has just happened. That's a totally different question. I'll of course chip in because I know you're not in this situation forever. But I cannot be capable of giving the same amount of devotion and respect and everything to someone I'm starting with from down there, and I'm the one providing everything. That changes everything.
Now,
so if things change along the way, that's a totally different scenario. But starting from down there with me being the provider, no, that's a problem.
Okay, so your concern is you will not be able to start with someone who is not within your standard. So that one I understand. Now that is why I say there are a number of factors that do affect the decision of a person by the time they're getting into marriage. That's why I said women or men also consider. They put into consideration, am I financially stable? Am I emotionally mature? Am I physical? All those kind of aspects. So having said all that, now they are in a family setup, they are in a relationship, and they are moving forward. Are they now able to bring everything together so that now they move as one? So that anything that happens in between, they will both understand that we started at a good note, and this is how we are moving forward. And do we still have the respect as we started with? Now that is the challenge here. So if you take you back to your main concern where you ask about the pressure in women, the pressure in women usually thrives or usually doubles or triples when age knocks. And I can tell you, when age knocks 35, for most women, they are never themselves. Those single women, they are never themselves. Because one, they start calculating in a simple way. I'm going to get married at the age of 35. Assuming that I stay in my marriage for another 2 years before I conceive, I will be 37.
And that is if I even have the potential husband by the age of 35.
Yes. So you got married today. This is just a workable, practical. You got married today at the age of 35. You stayed in your marriage for another 2 years because of challenges, and you didn't have a pregnancy during that time. So you're already 37. So you're having with another 3 years to reach 40. So you get your first kid at the age of 38. You get. Remember, your first kids needs about 3 years to start going to school, or 4. You're still, at this time this kid is going to school, plus 4, that is, you're already 40.
42.
So 42, you are planning for a second one at the age of 42. You get it, because you wanted to give a
nice
gap bracket of about 4 years or 3 years. So you are struggling for the second born at 42. But remember, you had a challenge even having the first one. So if this one doesn't come, you remain with one kid. Now this one kid, you're already at 42. This kid starts going to school. This kid has how many years to complete university? Plus, let's just say, let's give this kid
22.
around 22 years. So 22 plus, you are 42.
Oh,
That's already 66.
66.
So at the age of 66, that is when you finished paying the last school fee of your child finishing university. Then you can imagine someone who started at the age of 23, someone who gave birth at the age of 23.
They grow with their kids.
They grow with their kids. You get now. So all these factors are considered. And that is why I said a woman who wait until at the age of 35, considering that I need a man of my standard, I need a man financially stable, I need a man who've accumulated more wealth, and I need a man of my class. If this doesn't happen, then they become disparate at some point. When they become disparate at some point, then those women will settle for less. And when they settle for less, actually they invite trouble in their life.
It's a
Because now
recipe
they
for
will
disaster.
feel they are being disrespected.
Yes.
Yes. They will feel like, I still want you to see my worth. You know, I'm the one doing this in this house, so I want you to feel me. Then this guy is like, no, I'm still the man.
And
here.
I also believe
Yes.
women's brains mature faster than men's brain.
Exactly.
So if you're 5 years older than your man, there's a problem.
Yes.
He'll be acting like your sibling, and you'll
You know-
always be there shouting.
You know, there's one thing I usually say about women, and I usually describe women like flowers. You guys have a short span to glow, and you can actually glow to the highest, but it is a short span. It's a short span that is so beautiful within your childbearing age. It is so beautiful. A woman between 19 or between, just put it as 20 to around 42, wow, you guys are glowing at that point. And that is the time that I think most of the women are being carried out by their beauty, and they don't care about other things that are fundamentals. Because I realize you can give a woman everything, but there's one aspect that women tend to run away from, that every woman would want to have a kid, irrespective of their status, whether they are married or not. It reaches a point.
Not every woman,
Yes,
but
it reaches
most
a point.
of them.
Yes, it reaches a point that most of the women
Yeah.
would rather go for having a baby. They would even now say, it's okay, if the marriage thing is not working for me, I want a kid. Most of the women will do that. So I will ask you, why would they do that? Because they belong to a family. Like that family thing is still in them. So something happened wrong somewhere. Maybe at the time that they were supposed to do certain things took control of them, and they never focused along that line. So that is why the pressures are usually different, absolutely different. And look at this. This is quite interesting. It's going to shock you. A man at the age of 60 getting married to a lady at the age of 25. You get my point? Look at how this woman has time to raise his kids than even the man. Last week, I saw one of the senior judge in Kenya at the age of about what? Is he about 60 something? I think it's double the age of the lady. And they were having a colorful traditional wedding. The lady was 35. The man was, I think, 60, approaching 70. Now, if that lady, at that point, what are they going for at that point in time? What are they going for? They are going for companionship. What they have found among themselves is more than love. It is the companionship. That is what now propelled their love. It is never about making kids. It is never about fancy things. No, it is about companionship, because they have reached the peak of their age. So this man is actually going for companionship in this woman. And that is how this man will be able to give more of a peace of mind to to this woman as compared to an age 20 and 25 getting married?
Depending on
Yeah.
what the woman is in there for.
Trust me, that's why I'm saying at that age, 35, this woman has also seen it all. This woman is going for what she believes is right, and that is the companionship. And that's why I said, at this point, if you look at the two of them, they are more of, this is all we want. People might judge. You see, right now, the society judges people. Like the mind you have. People would think that lady is just a gold digger in a way. You get it? But I want you to read their story. They have been dating for quite a long time. Of course, they have known each other for along that line. So it means for them to make a decision and say, this is the line I'm going, they have already found companionship in one another. And that is what is now driving them into saying, it's okay, we want to be a family. The kid might only be an optional for them. It will not be the priority of their marriage. It is an optional thing for them now. Yes.
All right, it seems like this is a very broad and very interesting topic.
It is because people fail to I feel like people fail to understand certain things about marriage. Because there should be, why do you want to marry?
And at the same time, studies show that people who get married at the age of 25 and below
Yes.
face more divorce cases.
Because they're still young. They didn't answer these questions that why do I get married? What do I want in a marriage? Do I love this guy to this
And
extent? Or
also,
do I love
I
this man
think
to
they
this
also
extent?
haven't really defined their purpose, where they want to go in life.
But remember, the same study also says those are the age bracket that people meet the love of their lives. So everything has the advantage and the disadvantage.
You could meet
in everything.
someone and
Yes.
say, this is the love of my life. But as you grow older, you realize that your values don't align.
Of course, certain things change, and that is why everybody we should be flexible in life. We should be even flexible with our needs. We should be. You know, most of the people have got into depression when things are not happening the way they want, and that has killed a number of people, and most of the young people. And that is why I'm saying we should be flexible with our needs, with our expectation, and everything, so that when I don't achieve this within this time frame, I don't beat myself.
I believe it's about maturity,
Yes.
communication,
Yes.
and also shared goals.
And you
Because
also need to
if I
understand.
get into marriage and I'm not mature enough to take my responsibilities as a wife, it's not going to work. I'm only going to frustrate my husband. And communication. What do I want? What am I in the marriage for?
When you talk about responsibility, what are these responsibilities that you believe women are supposed to take?
Topic for another day.
Yes, because you mentioned, you know, there are things I've find a different conversation with young men, but one thing is coming out clear that ladies in the society today don't take responsibility, and I keep on asking the ladies, what are these responsibilities that you guys don't do in a family? Are there a situation whereby these days people believe that we are equal? Is there that thing available there right now? Like we are equal?
People do believe that, that men and women are equal. Provided I bring food to the table and you bring food to the table, then that is, as a woman, you feel like for a man to bring food to the table, it shows that they're taking their responsibility. They're supposed to be the provider in the family. But with this economy that we are facing right now, the man bringing bread to the house is not enough. They need help. But now, when I help you bring bread to the family, who is helping on the other aspect? And don't bring in the house help. This house help is not part of this family, of this household. So it's you and I. So if I'm helping you with your responsibilities, I'm expecting the same from you. Because I cannot do 25% of your responsibility, then take on 50% of mine plus 25% of yours. That is 75 on my side. It takes a toll on me. So how are we helping each other on this?
Now, I think I will base my argument on one thing. One, how are we able to have a conversation in this family? Because when it comes to responsibility, there are a number of things that usually comes out. One of the things that comes out, women look at responsibility in terms of, I want a man to provide. And these provisions means 100%. I want him to pay school fees. I want him to buy food in our house. I want him to pay rent and I want him to pay our entertainments. Okay? Now, we all live in the morning going to work. You know, this burden, this man leaves this house with all this burden, plus the salary that he has, right? Then I leave the house, we are both leaving, you're also going to work, which means you've already bring in a house help that I'm also paying, and this is an additional thing that has also come in. So at the end of the month, I sit down and look at my pay and what obligations that I have ahead, and after fulfilling all, I'm left without. So it means I'm straining. Emotionally, I start getting stressed up. You get it? As a person, I've not even shared that out with you, but I'm trying to look at the life of a man in a normal aspect. Waking up in the morning, doing the daily. This man is already stressed, but I still want to prove to my wife that I'm the good guy. I can still take responsibility as much as I'm feeling the pinch on it. My wife, on the other hand, want to feel like, oh, ananifanya kila kitu. You get it? So I want us to argue based on there are good men outside there and there are people who don't take responsibility. You get it? So when we are doing that, then we are giving a win-win situation in the sense that we should have a conversation in a family. And we should not look at it like, what is the responsibility of a woman that a man should not do? Because if we look at what are the responsibility of a woman that a man should not do, then I can tell you we are going in for a rude shock. Because you realize that in the society today, if a man takes stand, like this is what I'm supposed to do, then most of the women and kids will suffer, on the other hand. But again, this is going to bring a division in the family. And that is why I said, a family setup should be, we are here. Have the money discussion, because that is the root bottom of every problem.
Yes.
So if we do that, then we know this is what we make in a month. Even if you don't give, can we divide our responsibility? Or can we say we have these bills to be paid, and I know if I pay these bills, my wife is able to sort one or two things. Even if I don't tell you, I don't need to tell you. But you can just come and say, but hey, I sorted out the house girl and I bought this. Me, I will tell you, but they have paid the school fee, I also paid the rent and also did this. You see how we are communicating? It means we are sharing a responsibility together.
Yes.
And this is what strengthens a family.
Communication is everything. In all that you've discussed right now, it stems from communication. Because there's no way I could be working, making money, and not use that money on my family. Where am I taking the cash? Why am I even toiling? Because I cannot be seated here looking at my husband suffering, going through it. And I have millions in my bank account and I'm just silent because he's the man now. I need him to take care of everything.
I really don't want to accuse anybody outside. I don't want to accuse anybody outside of maybe some women not taking responsibility or some women are not doing this or men are not doing this. But I want to generalize my conversation based on what do I believe we should be able to do.
Yes.
To make it right. Because if I start by accusing someone who is not doing it, then at the end of the day we are not having a conversation. I believe that when we've become a family, then we should have this conversation. And we should have a honest conversation for the betterness of our family.
Yes.
Whereby it should be like, this is what I have and this is what I get. And if I get this money, this is how I believe we can have it. So when a woman comes in and says, "It's so," you women can be defined as a chicken with the kittens. You get it? The difference comes in a hen will just come and lay. Who takes the responsibility until these things hatch and gets into chick? You get it? It is the responsibility of a woman. One time I realized someone says that the role of a woman in a family is like the role of a crate of eggs. And you hold it, irrespective of what happens, you hold it. When a woman gives up and drop that crates of eggs, what happens? They will definitely break. And that is how the family will break. So if at all we would go back to the biblical aspect or the biblical definition of a marriage and the responsibility of women in the marriage, then we'll be able to understand the broader aspect of it, that what are the roles of women in a marriage. And if women also are able to understand that, irrespective of what my husband going through, but what are my role in this family? I still need to hold this family together so that my children grow You get it. But I don't say that you should do this irrespective of how you're being bullied, how you're being tortured. No. The respect should come from both ends.
Yeah, it's mutual.
As a man, if I don't have this, I should come and say, my wife, today, I think I'm not going to make it this because I don't have this money. So if you're in a position, you can say, it's okay, I'm going to pay it. It doesn't make me of a lesser man in any way. And it also doesn't give you any right to ride over anything. You know, we've held our family together, and that is how I believe it should work. But where there is no communication, where there is no respect, I think everything is definitely washed out.
Of course. So I believe that the biggest ingredient is communication.
Yes.
We need to sit down, have an honest conversation about whatever is happening in the family. If there's a struggle from one side, there has to be a conversation. We have to talk about it and know what to do about it.
Yes.
And if there's a struggle on the other end, also communication will solve it. But without communication, or let's say my husband goes through something and I go talk to my friends about it. The feedback that I'm going to get from there, now I pick it and come act on it in my house. They talk to me about their perspective, and their perspective is irrelevant to my perspective. So the advice that I get from the outside does not work in my house, and it destroys everything. So we just need to keep everything inside and communicate.
Allow me illustrate what I believe is a situation in a marriage. I will illustrate it this way. If you see this glass of water, this glass of water, and we can fill it to the brim, and the glass will still be able to hold the content irrespective of what happened. It's just because the outside pressure and the inside pressure is actually balanced. So the glass is still stable and holding it. Assuming that I put more pressure from outside and pressure this thing, it will definitely crack. So if it cracks, it will spill out the water. It means the outside pressure is too much than the inside pressure. So we are going to lose this. Now, in the real aspect of a marriage should have a more pressure from inside. The pressure from inside should be quite strong to overstand or withstand the pressure from external. The external pressures are these pressures that comes from the families. There are these pressures that comes from the friends. There are these pressures that comes from the work. There are these pressures that comes with the life itself. There are these pressures that come from our health. But now the internal pressure is these issues that we have with you and the kids inside. At no given point should the inside one get even weaker in any way. It should get more strong so that we balance what comes from outside. If we balance what comes from outside, then it means our family thrive as much as we have all those pressures. There is this wave coming, hit you on the other end, but it's still stuck. So this is what I believe a successful family should look at or should look like. That are we still able to hold things together? Are we still able to go home even if I don't get the pay and I face you and say, hey babe, you know, today I didn't get my pay and I think I'm low on something. And you say, it's okay, I think I got this. I had some cash, I'd buy some food. So we can still sit in the table, eat with kids and laugh. It's not written all over our face that we as parents, we don't have the money.
Something is wrong.
Yes, the kids can still see our happiness, even if it changes, but they can see the standard is still there. The constant still remains. The constant still remains, which is you and me as the father and the mother. That still remains in their life. So they're able to adjust. But if we can't hold our own pressure, then remember the external pressure will be too much. And if it does that, then we are breaking down before we know.
Yeah, so marriage is not about age. It's not about that. The age doesn't really matter. So the most important thing is communication, maturity, and shared goals. We should all be riding towards the same direction.
We shouldn't
We've decided to make this thing work. So we all work towards that same
We
goal.
shouldn't say that age doesn't matter, because we're trying to have an age limit for marriage, just to try and control child marriages in the society today. So we can say a maturity age usually starts from 20 and above. Those are people who can make their own independent decisions. You get it? But now we are trying to look at a situation where we are also able to protect our children in the society from the same people who would want to settle down with them and take advantage of them. But one thing I know is there are certain age bracket that will bring a lot of pressure in our life. And there are certain age bracket that gives us an opportunity to have the best in our marriages.
Sound decisions.
And make sound decisions in our marriages. That one I do believe. Yeah.
But communication is the glue.
Communication is key in every marriage, in every relationship. Communication is key. And how do we? It is called precise communications. Of course, there are also disadvantages of precise communication. There are people who will never ever know how to deal with such a person. When someone wants to tell you, I want you to communicate, when you start communicating, it can scare the hell out of them. Because that will mean you will tell them everything the way they want. Are they ready to deal with that? They will even start by saying, unarudi kama uni mtoto. Because they ask for communication. I'm telling you where I am. I'm telling you the shit I'm doing.
And you're not ready to listen.
And maybe that is too much for you. You feel like, this guy is bugging me a lot. But you ask for my communication. I wake up in the morning and I give you my work plan. By Sasita, I drop you an SMS, you feel like I'm too much. You're like, no, unaninyonga.
I don't need to know where you are
you're
every single
suffocating
minute.
me. Yes, you're suffocating me. So I think certain things we also need to understand. What do we want with certain people? Because there are people who can do communication. There are people who are good in communication. They will always be there.
And now what do we do about these aunties? These aunties that keep asking, utaolewa lini, utaolewa lini, unaleta mgeni lini?
I think ladies do feel it much more pressured than men, because we men, our pressures are not that much. As much as they will bring a joke, kuja unitembelee nikupatie, but it doesn't sound much of a pressure like when it is being told to a lady.
But some start even matchmaking you. They call and they tell you, kuja unitembelee. Ukifika, now there is a friend's daughter was also invited.
Yes, but you see, that is, do you know, let us, we are taking back to look at how the tradition was back then, because I started by saying there's some tradition norms in this. The tradition back then was, for you to marry a lady, your family must have known the lady's family.
Yes.
And it starts by maybe your auntie pinning out a lady where she's married, and she believes this family is good. Then they come and tell you, kuna kitu huko. You see, yes, at that point, they have done their own research. And that is what had really helped back then, that people were marrying from good families, families with reputations. And it still happened to date by day.
They married,
yes,
and then fall in love later.
Do you know these things still happen to date? I've seen these politicians, they marry their daughters. They meet somewhere. These guys, it's still happening. It's just that now people stop not to focus. But the royal families are there. And that is the basic of it. That is how it started even in the old days. They all go back to the royal family. They don't just marry, they go back to the royal family. So even today, if your auntie tells you, come and visit me, just go visit. It could be an opportunity for you. Maybe an opportunity for you to meet a nice gentleman. Maybe you couldn't have met somewhere.
Visiting is not an issue,
but remember,
matchmaking is the issue.
Yes, now you see, the matchmaking back then, they were being taught how to love. There was no love, because I remember by the time of my grandmother's getting married, those guys were being eloped. Wewe umeenda sokoni kutafuta kubai chakula na unabebwa na hiyo chakula yote umeenda. Yes, and you could learn to love there. You will learn, and they made families. We are here as a result of those. So you can remember that even now, we can still have a society that can, but system has changed. Whatever has changed comes with its advantage and its own disadvantage at the same time. Yes. So it's just like, how are we able to embrace both? If we are able to embrace both, then we'll be able to know. Because even you today, if you have a son, one day you would want your son to marry from a reputable family. You get it? A family that is known. How will you do that? You will even go ask, hey, man, do you know that family? that aspect of asking, do you know that family? That person is playing that role. They are playing the role of going to investigate for you as a man. So everything still happens. It's just that the digital system has changed things.
It's a bit different.
Yes. But back then, people would walk to those areas. I remember, people would be sent to go and investigate. That girl come from where? So people are sent from the family. Go investigate. So they go in that community and they start investigating. Oh, how is this Mzee? How is this Mara? How is their bigger family? Their extended family? You know, they would even look at the diseases that were related to certain families. You see, now we have chronic illnesses. So they will even go as much as looking at, oh, the husband died. What could have been the issue? So they start by understanding it's okay, certain things happen in this family, and this could mean this is what is happening in this family or not. So that understanding was very good, and it was key in those marriages back then. Not like what we have today. Nimepata msichana hapa town na ndio hiyo sisi tumeenda. Things zita unfold tu huko mbele. Yes, and your parents will be like, what? Hey, do you know what happened? It is blah, 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 blah. You see those kind of stories?
Yes.
Now everybody shake. Hey, I didn't know.
So viewers,
Yes.
back to you. What's your verdict? Does age really matter?
Maybe I married you and you didn't know that if I take you home, we are night runners. Ikifika usiku, everybody change. Everybody change and we are going for an exercise.
You find yourself alone.
Yes,
in
you
bed.
do as the Romans do. So I will brief you and tell you, here, this is what we do, so change. And we go work. So when we come back to that, you already married in the society. You already married in that family. So you will adjust yourself with that. Then you start doing that. Even me, it's just that men don't marry, don't stay at their in-laws' place. So if that would be the case, then men also would be having serious problem like women does. Because my friend, you are married in that home, you never used to visit that home. Then boom, umepelekwa nyumbani. Then you start seeing things back and you are like, where are these guys going every day ikifika this time? Where wanaenda wapi? Kumbe guys are busy running outside there. Yes, so your time will come that they will know how to introduce you to it because you are part of the family. So when you are introduced, will you go back and tell your parents, where? I've been introduced to this. So you will stay silent with it. And then you become part of it.
It depends. That's heavy.
So that is marriage anyway. That is marriage to women. It changes a lot in them, and I also do appreciate the fact that most of the women have always adjusted, because it is not easy to leave a family and go start your own family and also adjust to the other family, and you become one thing with the expectation that people want you to be. It's not easy. So I really salute women. They're doing a good job outside there. I really salute them.
So whether someone is 22 or 45, it doesn't really matter. All you need to do is to go for what works for you.
Go for what works for you and define what you're going for at that particular time, because the chances are so narrowed down. So you just define what you want.
And
at
stick
the age,
to it.
yes, at the age of 20s, when you are still able to bear a child, you will go for family. But I don't want people to start struggling after the age of 45 as still they're struggling for families and everything. Don't waste that kind of opportunity, because it's going to stress you up. It's going to stress you up. So you should just go for the companionship aspect of it and just live a life, just enjoy.
But now when you marry young, you also need to realize that you're still growing. So you'll be growing together and you'll be facing a lot of challenges compared to those who marry later.
Yes, and that is the beauty of it.
But also you need to realize that as much as you're going through the challenges, you are growing, and there is no relationship that's smooth.
Yes.
You just have to weather the storm.
Yes.
Hold hands and stick to it.
You guys will fight in the house. There's those beautiful fights in the morning, like just quarrel tu nata mjui mnapigania nini.
You fight, and in the evening you're like, why?
Not even in the evening. 30 minutes after, you guys are like, that is a beautiful part of it.
It's funny. Yes. What were we fighting about?
Fighting. Not that ile mnapiga mtu mpaka uumize mtu. No. That is not what we define. We acknowledge that there should be peace in a marriage, and we also believe that marriage is a beautiful thing. So let us all make it beautiful. Let us all make memorable moments in those marriage lives that we have. So that's what I believe in.
So provided you feel you're mature enough and ready to tackle this thing called marriage, go for it.
We'll still bring more of these topics. You know, marriage is a very big, diverse part of it that we cannot discuss once. So we've just started it today. So we are going to go deep into it, very deep into it. And I can tell you, we're going to even bring the aspect of infertility in a marriage and all the consequences. And we're able to discuss all these things. So thank you so much.
And we also can't wait to read your comments. So your views in the comment section. We are so eager to know what you think about this topic.
Just drop it there. We're going to read it. And next time we come back here, we'll start by reading those comments and discussing them. Then we move forward.
So thank you so much for watching this episode. Until next time, I'm Penina Lauzi.
I'm Henry Akelo.
Bye.
Bye. Go start.